Another reboot just dropped its trailer. The comments are already merciless. They ruined it, someone writes. It's not like the original, says another. Give it a chance, someone else pleads, and gets buried under 100 angry replies. You've seen this happen a dozen times. A beloved movie gets remade with a bigger budget, better effects, a more diverse cast, tighter writing by every objective measure. And somehow it still feels worse. But here's the strange part. If you showed the original film to someone seeing it for the first time today, they might not even finish it. The pacing drags, the jokes land flat, the effects look dated. So why does it still feel untouchable in your memory? The real answer is far stranger than bad writing or lazy studios. Your brain isn't comparing the new movie to the old movie. It's comparing the new movie to a memory that was never accurate to begin with. And once you understand how that memory got built, you'll start noticing it everywhere. In the music you loved as a teenager, in the summers that felt endless, in every sentence that starts with "things were better back then." This is called nostalgic bias, and it is quietly rewriting your past every single day. Start with the movie. When you first watched it, you weren't just watching a film. You were sitting next to a specific person. You were a specific age. The room smelled a certain way. Maybe it was raining outside. Or maybe it was the last night of summer before school started again. None of that was in the movie. All of that got fused to the movie. Psychologist Terrence Mitchell ran a study in 1997 that captured this almost perfectly. He tracked people before, during, and after a vacation, asking them to rate their experience in real time. Then he asked them again, weeks later, to remember how the trip felt. The ratings didn't match. Not even close. People remembered the trip as significantly better than they'd rated it while it was actually happening. The traffic jam vanished. The argument over dinner plans got smoothed out. What remained was a warm, simplified highlight reel. Mitchell called this rosy retrospection. And it isn't a flaw in your memory. It's a feature. Here's why that matters for the movie. You didn't just watch a film once. You rewatched it, or the feeling of it, dozens of times in your head over the years. Each time you did, your brain wasn't retrieving the original experience. It was retrieving the last time you remembered it. Small distortions got added with each pass, like a photocopy of a photocopy. The plot holes got quietly deleted. The slow scenes got trimmed. What remained was a trailer for a movie that never technically existed, cut together by your own memory over years of casual recall. So when the reboot arrives, it isn't being compared to the actual original film. It's being compared to this internal highlight reel, and no movie, not even the original re-release today, could beat that. Now think about the music. You probably have a specific stretch of years where, if a song came on, you'd swear it was simply better than anything released now. For most people, that stretch sits somewhere between age 12 and 22. This isn't a coincidence, and it isn't really about the music either. Psychologists Carol Krumhansel and Justin Zupnik ran a study in 2013 looking at what they called the reminiscence bump for music. They found that people across different generations consistently rated songs from their adolescence and early 20s as more emotionally powerful than songs from any other period of their life, including music released in their own children's era that they'd heard just as often. Why does the brain lock in so hard during those years? Because that window isn't just about music taste forming, it's the period when your identity is forming. Your first heartbreak, your first real independence, your first sense of who you are outside your family. Neurologically, this period is soaked in novelty. And novelty is what makes memories stick with extra intensity. The song wasn't necessarily better. The moment it was attached to mattered more than any other moment would again. That song became a timestamp for becoming yourself. New music, no matter how good, is competing against that. It never had a chance. There's a deeper mechanism running underneath both of these examples, and it has a name. Psychologist Konstantin Sedekides, one of the leading researchers on nostalgia at the University of Southampton, has spent decades studying why people feel pulled toward their past. His research found something unexpected. Nostalgia isn't primarily about missing old things. It's a coping tool your brain deploys, specifically during moments of loneliness, stress, or uncertainty in the present. In his studies, participants who were made to feel socially disconnected were significantly more likely to turn to nostalgic memories afterward, and reported feeling less lonely once they had. Nostalgia, in other words, is medicine your brain prescribes itself. That reframes the whole reboot situation completely. You're not actually angry about the movie. You're mourning a version of your life that the original film happened to be standing in for. Complaining about the reboot is a socially acceptable way to grieve something much bigger. Being 14, having that friend group, not yet knowing how hard adulthood gets. The movie is just the easiest thing to point at. There's one more piece to this, and it explains why the distortion never seems to correct itself no matter how many times you're shown evidence. Psychologist Christine Bacho, who has studied nostalgia extensively at Lemoyne College, found that people don't just remember the past as better. They actively filter out the parts that don't fit the story they've decided the past should tell. Ask someone why their childhood music was superior, and they'll cite melody, lyrics, authenticity. Play them the actual bottom of the charts from that same year, full of forgettable filler tracks, and something interesting happens. They don't update their opinion. They dismiss the evidence instead. This is called motivated forgetting, and it isn't dishonesty. It's protection. If the memory is tied to your identity, correcting it feels less like learning a fact and more like losing a piece of yourself. So the reboot never really had a fair trial. Neither did this year's music. Compared to the soundtrack of your adolescence, you weren't judging quality. You were defending a version of yourself that only exists in memory now. None of this means the past was worthless, or that your favorite film and favorite songs don't deserve their place. It means the comparison was never fair to begin with. You're not measuring old against new. You're measuring a curated, softened, emotionally armored memory against something that has to exist in the messy, unfiltered present, in real time, the same way the original once did before your memory got its hands on it. Next time a trailer drops and the comments turn vicious, notice what's actually happening. Somewhere underneath the criticism is a person missing who they were the first time, not the film itself. And next time an old song plays and something in your chest tightens before you've even placed the melody, you'll know what that really is. It isn't the movie. If you made it this far, you've probably caught yourself defending an old song or an old movie like it was personal, and you are far from the only one. Like this video, and subscribe to the channel to keep videos like this showing up in your feed. And if there's a song, a film, or a summer you still remember better than it probably deserves, drop it in the comments. You might be surprised how many other nostalgics are reading along with you.